everyone. Today video is on GraphQL subscriptions in Angular by using the Apollo Angular library. Okay, so first let's understand what is subscription in GraphQL. Okay, so before going any further, I want to mention one thing. This entire session, what I am going to explain, has been already made as a blog. So if you want to check the blog, the link will be available in the description under the video. So you can check the link for the blog. Okay, so this is my blog. Okay, so let's first understand the GraphQL subscription flow. Okay, so let's have a look at this image. So if you observe here, there are two main components like two main commands like mutation and subscription. I think mutation is everyone will have idea, nothing but updating data into the database or any data store. Okay, so subscription is also one of the main command in GraphQL like query and the mutation. Okay, so how subscription work? Think this is like a some admin tool or uh, any kind of admin interface and updating some data or sending some data into the mutation. So inside of mutation there will be a event raiser. So whenever that event raiser executes, what it will do, it will store the data that was passed to it in some storage, something like either in application in memory storage or distributed storage like Redis cache, something like that. So on saving that, immediately in the subscriptions, there are few resolvers. So appropriate subscription resolvers will listen for the changes that were made by the event sender. Okay, sorry, made by the event sender. So subscription, what you will do, it simply listens for the changes raised by the event sender. So on receiving the changes, subscription, uh, it will distribute or sends those data to the client subscribers. You can see here, client subscribers. So this is the flow of GraphQL subscription. Okay. So to implement GraphQL, we know the best library is Apollo Angular library. So it also supports subscriptions. So what we will do, we will implement the subscription. And for this demo purpose, I have created a .NET GraphQL endpoint. Okay, for my demo purpose. So that is this. So I'm going to use this endpoint into our Angular application. Okay. So before going to Angular application, let me show how subscriptions in GraphQL works practically. So I am running this project, and these are like if you see here, this is GraphQL endpoint, and this UI editor displaying on browser is nothing but the default interface provided by the Hot Chocolate GraphQL. Okay, so if you observe this tab, I am adding some products. Okay, so what I will do, I will change like car. Okay, and it like 20,000. Okay, so I want to send it to the server. So from the image point of view, this mutation is this block. Okay, this tab is this block, and if you come to the next tab, you can observe here. This is my subscription tab. You can see the keyword subscription and what are the, this is subscription resolver name, and these are the properties I am expecting in the output. Okay, so that means this one. Okay, now let me run my mutation method. See, so I have successfully sent to the server, and you can observe here output for 20,000. If you want, you can change it to some van and send to server. It's sent to the server, and now here you can observe automatically subscriber fetches the data. Means this is a continuous process. Okay, So one thing is we have to remember is in mutation we manually invoke the API, right? So here what kind of call it will take place means HTTP normal call only. Okay, but here I am not invoking, but it is always listening for the server changes. So here we should have persistent connection or long-lived connection. So this connection will takes over by WebSockets. Okay, so this is how GraphQL subscription work, and our goal is from our Angular sample application, we will create one publisher. Publisher is nothing but the data pushed to the server. Okay, so one publisher component and one subscriber component. Subscriber component is nothing but where we are going to implement our subscription logic. Okay, uh, I think that's fair enough to give you the knowledge on server side. Okay, so let's begin by creating the Angular application. So here is my Angular application that I have just created. Okay. Now first thing is we need to install the Apollo Angular library. Okay. So installing using ng command Angular Apollo library is very easy, and all the configuration will be taken care by the ng command. Okay. So let's run that command. So this is the command ng add Apollo Angular. Let me run. So our library has been successfully installed. Okay, it will automatically create a one module file like in the src uh, in the app. You can see graph module. Okay, here we need to configure URL and everything. So for implementing GraphQL query and mutation, this installation is enough. But I have mentioned, right, subscriptions are rely rely on WebSocket communication. So we need to install two more packages to support the WebSocket instance. Okay, so let's install them as well. Those are like these commands. One is subscriptions transport WebSocket. Okay, first let's install it. So here is the package that's successfully installed. Now let's install some TypeScript related to WebSockets. Sorry. So from this you can understand this is dev dependency. Okay. So that is also installed successfully. So we are done with the packages installing. Now come to the graph module. We have to define the URL here so that whenever we use Apollo instance for communicating the GraphQL endpoint, it will take the URL that we configured here. But now the case is we need to have both HTTP and WebSockets, right? So we need to have a logic based on the operation that's going to be triggered from our Angular Apollo application. Okay, so based on the operation, URL or the communication uh, type should be switched. Okay, so something like if our application is working with uh, query or mutation, then it should be taken care by HTTP. If it is a subscription, then it should be taken care by the WebSocket. So that logic we need to implement here. Okay. So copy the URL here. Okay. So here what I am doing, here I have created a HTTP constant where I am getting the HTTP link instance. Okay. Okay. Now I am creating one more instance that is WebSocket link. So that loads from Apollo client link slash WS folder. So here what I'm doing, here I'm configuring uh, URL for WebSocket. So here see protocol is not HTTP, no WWS. So since my uh, server application runs under HTTPS, here you can observe HTTPS. So I'm here using WWWSS. Or suppose it is a non-HTTP, then WS is enough. So I am using WSS, okay, for secure WebSocket. Now here we have configured option like reconnect. We need persistent connection, right? So we should enable true. Okay, now what we have did, we have created instance of HTTP and in the instance of the WebSocket. Here we need to import split. Okay, split. So here what I did, here I created one more constant link and I used a split that loads from the Apollo client core. Okay, this split is like a ternary operator. Okay, uh, inside it will contain say anonymous function. So this is that anonymous function. It should be a Boolean type. Based on the Boolean value, it will return instances. So here, if you observe, based on the operation type, if it is operation definition and it is subscription, if this condition is satisfied, then it will return WS or else it will uses HTTP. So I can pass the link here. Right. So finally, from this code, what we can understand, we have created instances for HTTP and WebSocket as well. But based on the operation, we are loading the appropriate instance. Okay, so that is the logic needed in the graph module. Okay, now what I will do, I will create a two components. One is publisher and another is subscription. So let's first create the publisher. Here is my publisher component. So what this component will have? It will have a small form where I can integrate the mutation logic so that on form submission that data will be posted to the server. So inside of server we know that right inside of mutation we have written some event raiser call so that will raise the event. So first let's add the form. So here is my form snippet where I am having two input fields, one for entering the product name and one for entering the product price and the submit button. So what I will do in component, let's create the properties for the two-way binding. Okay. Now let's use two-way binding. Okay. And now let's create a method to for button submission. And first we need to inject the Apollo instance into our constructor. Okay, that loads from Apollo Angular. So first, what we have to do, we need to frame the command for our mutation. For that, I will go to my server side tab that I have previously shown, right? So I will copy from there. So this is my uh, constant. So copy it. What I will do here on top, I will create that mutation command. So constant uh, product post. To use to wrap it that mutation command we need to prefix with GQL. That's loads from Apollo. Okay. So backticks and paste here our command. So here my mutation command. This is my variable. Okay, and this is my resolver method. Okay. Okay. Here I need to specify the my constant product post, and we have to assign variable, right? So variable, and what is my root variable name? This one, my product. So I should define it here, and I simply pass my product because these column names will match with my variable names here. These names. Okay. So this start product form. Okay. And finally, we need to subscribe for it. I'll just console log the data because in this sample, I don't care what type of response from the mutation. So just I'm simply console logging. Okay. So that's all about the logic for our publisher. Just we need to create the mutation. So if you observe here, Apollo instance will get the mutation URL from our graph module based on the type of query. Here query invocation type is mutation, right? So uh, here it will be false. False means this one will get written from this split method. Means HTTP will be the output for the links. Okay. Now next thing is I need to uh, do few more configurations since I am using model binding, right? So in app module, I need to import the form module. Okay, import that module as well. And let's also import our component here. What is our component? Products publisher component. And declare it in declaration arrays. Okay. And let's create route as well in Angular routing module here. Home path, I will use my publisher component. Okay. Now let's create the subscriber component. So subscriber component will contain implementation to our subscription language, subscription logic. I will first inject the Apollo instance into my constructor. Okay. Now, and Apollo Angular, when we go to our what I can say, no need to go. Let's check here itself. This dot Apollo can provide watch query, query, create, and mutation operation, but there is no like subscription. The subscriber is different. This is like RxJS subscriber. Okay, there is no subscription like watch query, query, or mutation or create. Okay, so why like this? Okay, so subscription from this we can understand subscription is not directly available from the Apollo instance. Okay, but when we look into the subscription also similar to the query, right? But query we manually invoke means it is single time. It will request and get the response. That's it. Whereas subscription, it is a persistent connection or long-lived connection. It's always listens for the uh, server side responses, right? Okay. So it is subscription also similar to the query only. So what we can do to create the subscription, we cannot directly create the instance of the subscription. So here what we will do. First, I want to capture the query reference. Okay. Okay. That's not from Angular Apollo only. Here I can specify any. Okay. What I need to do, I need to implement the on init. Okay. On it lifecycle method implemented. Now, what we will do, we will create a fake query command. Okay. From that query instance, we can create the subscription instance. Okay. Got it? Means why it is like that means, for suppose, in your scenario, initially we want to load the data from the database. Okay. For that, what we will do, we will query. Query will fetches all data from the database one time. Okay. Next time onwards, you don't want to manually invoke, but any newly added record, if you want to get means, then you can use the subscriber instance. Okay. So by keeping this scenario, Apollo GraphQL has been implemented the subscription. But our scenario is I don't want to load any data initially, but I want to subscribe whenever the data is pushed from the server. So to implement my case from the existing case, what I will do, I will create a fake query. Okay. That query I never call or I never invoke that query. But by creating fake query, I will get the instance of query so that I can create the subscription instance from that. So for that reason, I am creating the fake query. So let's create some fake query command. Okay, I have mentioned we should wrap it in GQL. Okay, that loads from Apollo and backticks and define syntax like query and fake anything you can create. Okay, now on in it, what I will do, this dot query ref equal to this dot Apollo dot watch query. Okay, and in this query, I will call fake query. That's it. I am not invoking. Invocation only done when we subscribe it, but I don't subscribe here. Okay, sorry. This is not in on in it, ng on in it. It should be done in constructor only. Okay. Now I have query ref instance memory. Now what I will do, I will create a method like subscription. Okay. So here this dot query ref dot subscription subscribe to more. Okay. This going to listen for the or invoke the subscription operation. Okay. So here what I can specify, I can specify document. Okay. Document. Whereas query, we will have query and mutation, right? We don't have something like subscription command. It will give the option like document. So here document, I need to specify my command for subscription. So let's create first command for subscription. Sub command. Okay. So what I will do, I will copy it from the my server editor. Use this one. So there is nothing specialty in this command. Similar to query or mutation, this is the keyword to represent to the what type of command this is. That is subscription. And inside this subscribe product is nothing but my server resolver, means server side one of the method name. And these properties represent the payload that I want. What are the data I want? I want name, cost, and created date. Okay. Now here I can specify sub command. Okay. Now here we will have one more property like update query. Okay, which take anonymous function like previous data. Okay, previous data and subscription data is nothing but the current response pushed from the server. Okay, now what I will do, it's returning some product data, right? So I will like product. I will save any. Now this dot product equal to subscription data dot and what type of object my server returning, I need to check from my editor. So inside of data property there is subscribe product property. So let's copy this and come to our terminal. Okay, so I am assigning. Now on HTML side, I simply just display the data whatever I am going to invoke. Subscriber. Okay, I am simply use UL or ng. What is product variable, my product, and li. Okay, name product dot name. Okay, so I'm going to get two more properties, right? Cost, date, cost. So these are all properties I want to display. Right now, that's it. What we are doing in subscription, we are injecting Apollo, and creating the variable of query ref. We know that subscriptions are not directly available. We must invoke some watch query. In my case, I don't have any data to initially load. So what I'm doing, I'm simply faking my data. And then from the query ref instance, I'm creating the subscription. And update query will always listens for the latest data. And one more thing, if you want initially load, then you should subscribe here. Okay. And one more thing is that uh, what I can say, it should not be fake here. It should be original command here. And also this return type should match with this return type. Okay. Since I am here using fake, right? It never executed. So I don't have any problem. But if you are loading initially data, this subscriber response type must match with the subscriber means query response type. Okay. Please remember that point. And we are done with the logic. Let's do some basic configuration like in app module. Let's load the subscriber component as well. Okay. And let's go to our app routing module and create one route for it. I will create like sub component is like okay. So these are my route paths. Let's run our application. It should be small cube. Okay. In fake query also it will check syntax. Okay. It should be very clear. Okay, what I will do, I will remove initial CSS and styling in app module. So just remove everything here and save it. Now you get form right. Okay. Now let me open my subs as well. So what I will do, I'll create sub. Okay, initially no data. Here also. So think like these are two clients are subscriber to my GraphQL server. Now this is my publisher, right? I am posting. I am posting my name and I am cost. Okay. Okay, and check now. Not at all posting. Okay, I haven't created the click event. Okay, let's go to my publisher component HTML at the rate click. Okay, not at the rate click, brackets click, and I need to specify my publisher method name. Submit form. Okay, let's save again. And now reload our app and let's test again. Okay, I'm getting some error. Okay, that's my server issue. Give me 2 seconds. I will enable cross origin at my server. Okay, I am skipping that from the video. So I am back again. Cross origin is fixed at my server. So let's try to run again my application, Angular application. Okay. Okay. Cost is decimal at the server. Okay, so in publisher component, what I can do initially 0. Okay, so that it will be a number value, and again I frame $20. Let's check over here. Simply what I will do, instead of directly assigning the products, okay, name is dot product dot name and cost. I will format it this dot product form dot cost. I think it should be fixed now. Let's try again. Okay, semicolon. Okay, cream $100. Here it is 200. Let's check here. Here it is no data, not subscribed. Subscriber method need to be invoked, means registered in the on init. Once we registered, that will start listening to our application. Okay. I hope now everything get good. Ice cream, costly ice cream, $100. See, now what I am adding, I am getting the data. So this date is from the server. Let's check my other client as well. See, here also I am getting data. See, this is how subscriptions work. Let me change to another data, like I want to buy a car and it should be some costly car. Let's submit again and check. See, car subscriber data automatically it's receiving data because it's always listens for the server. Let's try one more time, like van with same cost. Okay. See, here I'm getting van. Here also another client van. See. Okay, so that's how subscriptions works for us. So in real time scenario, something like notifications, that kind of scenarios, subscriptions will work very easily. Okay, and that's all about the using subscriptions in Angular by using the Apollo Angular library. Okay, I think this video has delivered some useful information to you all. If you like my video, please do subscribe to my channel. We will meet you again soon. Until then, signing off.